Good morning, traders. Are you guys ready to get back to the trading game? Of course, it's a July 5th. You might be a little hungover. We got to get back on top of our game. Shake it off, get some water, get that coffee going, orange juice, a little pinky up. Let's see what we can get into today on live trading with Benzinga.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
Team, sorry for the late start there. Having some software issues on my end, but let's go ahead. Let's get to the charts. Let's bring on Zunaid. And I will have, of course, Nick Brown in the back. He'll be coming in, bringing in some headlines for us. Let's get to the stock charts first here. It's good to see you boys. First thing I want to take a look at is the stocks overall. We'll see what happens today if the SPY can keep going to the upside today, or will it just fall off and fill the gap? I think it might be able to fill the gap back down to 440s before it wants to come back up. But, of course, we never know which way the market's going to go. Just got to get ready for the open here. I do have some swing trades on. I got about 7 items on my swing trade list here. So QS, still riding that up. Want to see if that can get back there towards 850s. Took some profits on that a little bit into Monday here. Looking for a nice little move above 12. This is looking better as we start kind of grinding higher. Want this to definitely break above 12, not below 11s today. I'll get out if that happens. Disney is one that I grabbed for a swing. We'll see if this can continue to climb and climb higher. I'm not the biggest fan of Disney, but I just see the chart, and the chart looks good for me. I'll get after it. Deere is another one that I've been holding for a little while now, trying to get this one back there to the 420 area. We'll see if we can get it back up there. XOM starting to come back down yesterday on a Monday. We'll see if it goes back to the 108.50s today into the 109 handles. And the last couple that I have here are Intel, INTC, already up a little bit on this position, but really wanted to get going. I'm like pretty much break even right now, 33.38s. Let's see if it can really make the move. And then BJ, of course, I grabbed this back after I made a nice little 3% win. Let's see if this can come back up through 65, make its way there to kind of this closing 68.98. That's what I'm going to be looking for on BJ. But that's enough of my swing trade outlook. We can take a look at some different stocks out there. Take a look at what Zunaid's taking a look at in the chat. And like always, team, we'll see what happens in the market. If you guys have one that's on your radar, throw it up in the chat right now, and we'll get to it. Let's kick it over here to my man Zunaid and see what he has on his charts today. And then we'll go to Nick Brown to get a little bit of some news report before the bell. All right.
I don't know if you like to hear my fire alarm.
Well, there you go, Zunaid. Get out of the apartment. Out of the apartment.
Hang on a sec.
Well, Nick Brown, it seems like it's going to be that type of morning. So we'll put Zunaid in the background there as he needs to go outside of his building because of a fire alarm. Yes, go handle that, Zunaid. Go outside. Go see your neighbors. Go say hi to them. You probably never met them before, so say hi to them now. And it's a good way to meet who your neighbor is really quickly. When you see the fire alarm come out, you see him really come out running real quick. All right, I'll have Zunaid in the background. He'll be back with us once the fire's down. Hopefully, we still see his computer screen up and it doesn't burn down. But let's go to Nick Brown as we get some report. What's going on this morning, Nick? Tell us what's going on in the market.
Good morning, Mitch. Hope you guys had a great holiday weekend. Great day yesterday off. Feels like holiday weekend, but it is Wednesday. In the meantime, Tesla's not done with price cuts. They do lower the Model 3 and Y prices in Japan in early Q3. So after raising prices in Japan in early May, Tesla has chosen to reduce prices of the Model 3 and Y vehicles in Japan in mid-single digits. More details on how the company's aggressive pricing action has impacted the margins will be known when it reports Q2 results on July 19th. In the meantime, we get the best Federal Reserve meeting minutes from the June policy. Those meeting minutes will be due at 2 p.m. Eastern time today. Will arrive after U.S. central bank officials have spent the last weeks, coming off of a pause. Is we going to get another hike this year? Are we going to pause? Key officials like the Fed Chair Jerome Powell have pointed out to forecasts release that at the gathering that half point could be another on the table, 25 or 50. So we'll have to see where those come out. And as you pointed out on pre-market prep this morning, Federal Reserve Bank of New York president, I should say, John Williams will be speaking at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We'll have to see what he says. And if anything comes out of that, we'll see if he touches on AI, probably inflation, probably another hike or two. We'll have to get all those details when those are released at 4 p.m. In the meantime, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen visits to seeks usher in more talks and tensions in Beijing. She participates in meetings in Beijing through July 6th through the 9th. Trip comes in persisting fight on trade and key technologies. We'll see following the Secretary Anthony Blinken trip to Beijing. We'll see how this meeting comes out. Who's going to be nice? Who's going to be more on the tougher side? We're going to have to watch those details coming out from meetings coming up. Goldman, I saw you pointed this out too. Goldman upgrades Netflix as the streaming giant regains momentum in content creation. They upgraded from neutral from sell. They raised the price target from 230 to 400. That still represents a downside of about 9% from Monday's close. In that note, they say, quote, Netflix management has executed its password sharing initiative in excess of our prior assumptions. They have regained content creation momentum in a manner that has muted any post-pandemic growth headwinds, and overall industry competition has become more muted, especially from traditional media companies in the past 6 months. To be sure, the analyst added that the muted neutral rating reflects Goldman's continued low visibility into the pathway to that upside note. That said, he acknowledged the shares are not likely to underperform for any extended period in the coming quarters. And to end it off, I will be going to New York this weekend, so you will see me these past tomorrow and Friday. But other than that, I will be off Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and we'll be back Thursday. So just wanted to give an early heads up to you and the live trading crew, just so no reports, come out saying that I've left. I'm not coming back. But you'll see me tomorrow and Friday, and that will be it till next Thursday.
What? I want to see some Nick Brown report live from New York City, baby. Come on, Nick. I want to see it.
That may be coming. That may be coming Monday. If we have a heavy news flow, I'll have to jump on real quickly.
There you go, Nick. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. What you got to do is you got to get the top headlines, stand right outside the New York Stock Exchange floor, and then just be like, I'm here right on the floor, baby.
That may happen depending on the heavy news flow. And if you need me to step on, we can always come up with plan B.
Hey, you let me know if you want to do some interviews out there and get to some really cool people. I got you, Nick, like always. All right, let's get back to the market. We can take a look at the SPY here to see what's going to go on and see if we're going to get some downside action here towards the open or not. We can, of course, take a look at stocks that were in the news and the headlines today. We did get, of course, some headlines to read about. Wolf getting some interesting information there. Wolf taking off there towards the next level. Going to also watch what came out of China, see if any of these stocks can get affected from gallium, of course, and germanium, of course, now getting hit from China regulation. So what are stocks that we can be watching here that could be affected? I think these are stocks that we definitely need to keep an eye out for. So like NXPI is one that I'll be watching to see if it comes down based on what happened in China. So that's a cut through the 202 level, and we'll see if this kind of retraces. There's a couple other ones. There's Corvo that could come down, and these are all kind of major stocks that use gallium. So we'll see if these kind of actually take a downturn or not from the mentions from China. So I'm going to keep these on my radar. We'll see if these actually come down. You can see a lot of resistance in this chart right above it towards kind of like that 105 level, 103 level. We'll see if this comes right back down through the 100. I wouldn't expect this to come down fast, but it's just something that I'm keeping an eye out for. Let me see. Creed Inc. Is that one that has a stock? No, that one doesn't have a stock. There's GAN Systems. That's not a publicly traded. I'm looking for stocks that are publicly traded. Texas Instrument is one that's actually an interesting one that is mentioned here. So Texas Instruments, TXN. TXN is interesting to kind of keep an eye out to see if this gets affected from the mentions from China. This actually looks bullish, so interesting to see that. And also it could be affecting the stocks like Toshiba and other names, but nothing that I'm expecting to get hit today off of that. All right, catching up with the chat. Just to let Nick know, Matthew said, let's get some drinks. I highly doubt those will be some good drinks, maybe some good non-alcoholic drinks from my man Nick Brown. But hey, who knows? Get after him. Get after him. You can always hit him up, Matthew, on Twitter. If you haven't had Nick Brown's Twitter before, we'll definitely throw it up in the chat there so you guys can give him a good follow. Give us a fire alarm update. Well, this is the update. Zunaid is still not back.
I was saying, hey, Mitch, regarding the NXP Semiconductors, Reuters was out with a note within the past 10 minutes that it says NXP Semiconductors on Wednesday said it was examining whether new Chinese export curbs on certain gallium and germanium products will affect its business. So we're going to have to watch that. Regarding the semiconductors, like
Nick, who gave you that headline, man? They're watching my show too much.
I was going to say, regarding the semiconductors, it's going to be very interesting to hear how this China situation shapes out and how Intel, Texas Instruments, all the major semiconductors, how they're going to be able to import and export, and how those prices are actually going to affect their company's revenue. Because, you know, earnings season kicks off, believe it or not. When I come back next Friday, we get the big banks, and we're going to start off with banks. And we're just going to roll through earnings season. Netflix, Tesla, all the major names are going to be coming. Apple. And it's going to be really important to see how Q2 is. Did that put the first half of the year in an okay situation or in a great situation? And then the guidance. The guidance is going to be key on all of these companies regarding Q3, Q4, especially Apple. Over the weekend, this past weekend, they says they're going to have to lower production of the Apple Vision of the Pro because of manufacturing issues. And is manufacturing going to be a key legitimate excuse for these companies saying, we can't manufacture, we have all these manufacturing problems, we're going to have to lower estimates? It's going to be very interesting to see how many companies and in which sectors companies not only raise guidance, but cut or just stay the same.
Yeah, and one thing to look out for, right, is the extensive deployment of 5G infrastructure. So if you look into 5G, a lot of the 5G multi-chip modules, they have to run off of a lot of these materials that are needed for this. That's what also NXPI makes, and that's what they switched over in June of 21. NXPI Semiconductors announced the integration of GaN technology into its multi-chip module, and GaN technology in 5G requires a lot of this material. So something just to look at, right? Manufacturing processes of how these chips are made and which companies will be more affected than others. Of course, I expect that. So just like Nick Brown brought you that headline, how did I find that headline? Or how did I find out? I just looked it up. I said, what companies use this in their chip making? And then you'll find what? You'll find research reports, right, that kind of point to this. And I think that that's the important thing, looking at things like this, research reports that kind of give you the insights. So I'll give you guys what I found here. This is from factmister.com. I like the website, factmister.com. Nick, you might have to steal that one.
Yeah,
that's a good one, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. I was going to say we could touch on Microsoft before the opening bell here.
Yeah, let's do it.
I was going to say Dan Ives over at Wedbush was out with a new note this morning, basically saying that Microsoft should join Apple in the exclusive 3 trillion club by early 2024. And he points out a lot of different things in his report about the AI, talks about AI, especially with NVIDIA. He thinks that's a big thing with Microsoft. He also points out the Azure cloud growth. And in this note, it's very interesting how Dan Ives comes to sum this all up. But he says that the Microsoft Azure Office 365 with the next step, he says that could be a combining adding of 40 to 50 per share to Microsoft sum of the parts value. You know, Dan Ives is one of the most bullish people out on the street, not only with Fundstrat's Tom Lee, but anytime you turn around, they're always out with a new thesis that could really get the bulls going. And that's what they're doing. They don't ever talk about being bearish.
No, they don't. And I think this is something to keep an eye out for. We'll see what happens there. Let's get to the bell here. We're about to get that nice little push. There's a nice little push there in Microsoft to begin the day. I'll get you in the background, my friend Nick. If you got anything, feel free to hop on. I'll just have you in the background. And also, you can always hit me up in the private chat. All right, let's get to the market. Let's see what we can get into, team. And of course, I'm going to do a little bit of some trading action. Zunaid is definitely left the air fryer on. So you guys out there, be careful with those air fryers. No, I'm just playing, but we'll see what happens there. Let me focus in here, see if I can get a nice little trade to start off the day. Trying to get in here, trying to get some trade the pool started up here and get these accounts ready to go here. But having some software issues this morning, and that's my computer. Looks like my memory's starting to fill up, hard drive filling up. You know how that life goes. I open up so many applications here. Let's get this all opened up. All right, there's the Qs pushing higher here out the gates towards 369. Will this be a little bit of a trap here to start the day? We'll find out what happens there. And of course, if you guys see any stock that you guys like, definitely mention it in the chat. We'll keep pushing strong here, team. Let's see what we can run into. All right. Looks like I lost the chart there. So let me see if I can get this chart up here. There we go. Not a bad. All right. Starting to get this set up here. And of course, you guys out there, smash the like if you guys are enjoying the stream. And of course, we'll take a look at Moomoo a little bit later today. But just trying to push here right now to see what we can get into. All right. Looks like my man made it out of the fire. You know it. Stay safe out there, team. We're getting a little bit of a spike here. And Zunaid, you're muted, just to give you the heads up on that. But
it's still going on, but I'm so out of shape.
Did you take the stairs?
Yeah, I had to take like 30 floors down.
Oh, hell no,
just for them
bro.
to tell us, oh, we installed new panels and it's just going off prematurely. Why couldn't you send an email before I went all the way down? Anyway, I'm sweating. I'll be back in a few minutes.
They gave my boy a workout this morning. Literally a workout. All right, be careful out there, team. Quick downturn here on Tesla. Keeping an eye on that one, pulling back to 278. And I feel like today is one of those days that I'm looking at like maybe even a SOX kind of push higher. So I think we could get some little downturn in tech today, but be careful out there, team. I don't think it's going to be long-lived. I think it's going to be a short-lived kind of run. So we'll find out what happens with this. SQQQ's coming down right out the gates. The Q's pushing higher. Will this be a little bit of a pullback to buy off the 1890 spot is what I'm looking at right now for the SQQQs. Let me actually take a look at that, see if I take a little bit of a shot here to start the day. All right, looking to start the day here, see if I can get them to the green. Getting a little bit of some downturn there. I'm going to see if we get a little bit of some bottoming action here and a little bit of a rip higher. Kind of a red to green move in the SQQQs. Overall, some stocks kind of getting hit here. Disney pulling right back down. That was up a significant amount, now pulling right back down. So got to be careful out there, team. Do see some stocks into the red. Not liking this Intel that much, especially if the market's going to pull back here. So I will get out of it if it does break kind of the 32s today, but doesn't look good there for Intel as it is pulling back here. SQQQ's now bouncing off that 1890s about 3 times. I'm going to go ahead and take a shot here off the 80s in just a second. Q's, how the Q's looking there. Q's going higher there, now topping out multiple times. It's 369.80s. Let's see if it can make one more attempt towards that level, and then I'll start to try to jam on to SQQQs. CCL mentioned in the chat, Disney back above 90s. We'll keep an eye on that. Bro, I had the same thing happen to me last year. 10 flights of stairs for a test. Hey, it'll put you to work, that's for sure. All right, here's a little bit of a spike there. Now we're getting up there. So let's keep an eye on the SQQQs here. Oh, come on, man. Switch over. Oh, that's what it is. There we go. All right, up 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3. Going to let the Qs try to break through the 369.84s. If that fails here, I'll start trying to get some SQQQs.
How loud is it in the background? Because I want to keep not being on mute.
It's pretty loud, but it's up to the chat. Do you guys want to hear a little beep beep and have Zunaid? It's up to you guys. You guys in the chat, put a 1 if you guys don't care about a little beep beep action, and I'm sure Zunaid will unmute and say, "Oh well, I'll just keep going."
Yeah, I'll just go through my charts if anything.
Exactly. If you have any positions, Zunaid, just kind of unmute, state your positions, keep doing your thing, focus on it, man. All right, there's the Qs trying to make that up move and failing there. Still not in anything for me. So seeing the Qs try to break out here. Let's see if it fails or does it break out. Q's trying to push there. We'll see if that keeps pushing. SPY pushed a little bit up here also. So it seems like we did have a little bit of a strong move out the gates. We'll look to see if this comes crashing down. Tesla pulled back below the VWAP. Now starting to push a little bit higher. Trying to be a little slow here because it seems like we're having a little bit of a mixed game. A lot of tech stocks bouncing to the upside. We'll see if they continue to the upside.
My heart is still racing. This is so stupid.
Beep beep. Okay, I think says everybody in the chat.
All right.
So
Well,
don't worry about
so
it,
I'll talk fast and I'll kind of go through it. So you've got the taking a look at the micro crude oil futures here in MCL. You can see that we've got a trend line. This is a 4-hour chart. You got the trend line touch 1, 2, 3, and here it looks like we're breaking out. So keep an eye on this one. This is a prop trade that I've got here, but also my real money. I've got a trade to purchase some contracts at 71.50 if it does want to come back and test it. We're about 15 cents away from that. Still have some Amazon left from a couple of days ago. You guys remember I was swinging that from the 130s. We took some gains around 131s. We still have about 200 shares remaining. My goodness. So we'll see if this makes it over 131.51. You can see how many times we tried in the past. 1, 2, 3, right over here, trying to break it to the upside. One other trade that we're still in are the contracts on Hood that expire on August 4, $10 calls. Nice little breakout of the session that we had. You can see we're above 10. Maybe we kind of consolidate a little bit, but my target's going to be 11 and then 11.50 to go ahead and start scaling out. Holy
Savage.
shit. You know, I'm looking at my Aura ring to see how my heart rate is.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, 180s.
Oh my goodness.
My boy's straight running in place.
Holy shit, bro. Well, the good thing is I burn about 100. I burn about 100 calories going down and up. So there's that.
That's a good. That's some good news there.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, go back on mute. What else you got?
Oh man, it's just how it is sometimes. No worries, man. It's just how it is sometimes, dude. Let's take it easy. We'll keep it going here. Just looking around here, team, to find out what I can get into. Looking at the SQQQs now bouncing a little bit here. Q's made a little bit of an attempt trying to get through those highs. Now failing a little bit. I'm going to look for a little bit of a turnaround here and maybe get some SQQQs alongside. All right, taking my shot right there. Just grabbed a little bit there. Now just going to risk off of the 80s levels.
What broker are you using, Crossy?
All right, so I got there some at 89, risking off the 79s right now. The Qs go through the 370s. It'll probably stop me out. I'm going for a little bit of a quick trade here, and then I'll look to see if I can kind of slowly add into a different play. NXPI giving me that alert for that downside action move. I talked about that stock in the pre-market, how that could come down based on the China news that was given to us. That's down to 203s. Doesn't look too bad. If it comes back to 204, it might take a little bit of a swing trade to the downside on NXPI. could see it filling back down to 200. So I risk about a point for 3 points. Just got hit there in the SQQQs. Q's going higher there, so it doesn't look like we want to see a little bit of a turnaround here, at least to start off the day. We'll see what happens a little bit later. Gave up about 50 bucks there. Going to keep trading. No, I'll keep taking risk on 50s. Just need to try to see if I can make a nice little $200, $300 gain today. We'll keep pushing. Tesla now back up there to 281. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of a dip buy, at least for right now. And NVIDIA going back there to 425, 426. It just seems like these tech names don't want to turn around, even though when we get this little bit of a leak here in the pre-market, doesn't leak out now. We'll see if this turns around, but definitely getting some buy the dippers coming right back into this market.
Keep an eye on the 171 break if we do get it on the Qs. Looks like we're above the previous resistance of that 370, 50, excuse me. Now the main focus for me is going to be on 371 to see if we can go ahead and get over that. What a stupid morning.
No worries, man.
Oh, they did just send an email saying, hello. It is a false alarm.
Oh,
thank you.
Thanks.
After I sweat like a pig, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing is when I was going down, I checked with the manager or whatever, and she said they all clear. So then I start going back up, and the people that are going down, I'm like, one, you're slow as hell. You would have died if this was a real fire. Two, it's funny because they're seeing someone go up while they're going down, and so they're confused, and like they want to ask me what's going on, but like they don't. I'm like, all right, get your calories in, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, bro. You know what I mean? Oh, man. It's a tough one there, guys. I do see tech coming up there today. Didn't expect to see it up there, and it's holding well right now. As we can see, Tesla pushing higher there, 282s. Just looks like the Qs do not want to turn around. We're there at 370, 60s now. Strong day to start off the day. We'll look to see if it keeps pushing to the upside. It's kind of a slow market, at least for me. See what happens here. Not seeing many moves.
Here's one on Meta as we're breaking to the upside of that 290. Let's see why we even have this level up. Let's go to the hourly. And you can see kind of right here where this 290 has been resistant. So you can keep an eye on it. If that 15-minute breaks above the 290 level, maybe comes back to test it. You can maybe risk about $1, $2 and see if you want to go long here, especially if the Qs are able to break this 371.
All right, we'll see what's going on. Definitely didn't start the day off well there. A little bit of a cut down, but the Q's just ripping higher. I don't think anybody expected that rip to the upside there. Q's up there to 30, 70, 50s. So I'm going to go get some OJ since I wasn't able to get it. Get my head back right into the game here. At 9:45, 10 a.m., we'll see if we get some reversals. We'll see so we get some pullbacks and some tech names.
All right, you go ahead and do that after you come back. I might have to go get some sugar because, boy, do I feel lightheaded. And I have no idea if sugar is going to help me or not, but it's always a good excuse to get some Oreo ice cream before you die on air. But main focus for me is going to be on these Qs. Like I mentioned, the 371 break. We've already got alerts set there. You also got the 331.51 that I'm keeping an eye on Amazon. We still have a couple of hundred shares there. And then we've got this swing trade that I'm going to have on the prop trade. But I also did go ahead and purchase one contract so far at 71.68 on the MCL futures. I'm waiting to purchase more at 71.50s. And then on the SPY, we're waiting to see if we can go ahead and break out. Let me go ahead and go back up here. Good Lord. This level here of about 444. Holy shoot. On IMPL, yeah, the 150 would be my risk off level if you were to get in this one. So you're risking about 17 cents from here. Obviously, you've got room to $2 as that was close to the pre-market highs. Water, small sips. Yeah, this is my second bottle So maybe the small sips, I didn't really listen to your advice, but boy, we are feeling lightheaded. All right, my game plan on Meta is going to be, if it does come back and test this 290, I'll go and get into a couple of 290 contracts and then 295 or the 300, depending on which one has better open interest and not as crazy of a spread. How is this fire alarm still going off is my thing. Like, come on. All right, looks like the Qs are pushing up. There is the break of 371 to the upside. Let's see if we're able to truly get above it and hold. At the moment, we've just kind of peaking above. I'm glad you've had a great trading day so far, Sal. You know, going down the stairs was fine, but then coming up was not. Oh, my goodness. It's funny because they say don't use the elevators, and the first thing I did when I went outside was try to get the elevators because going down those flight of stairs is not fun. Let's see what else we've got. If there are any tickers that y'all want me to take a look at, let me know. We apologize for the hectic morning. Obviously, we couldn't anticipate it. And when life throws a fire alarm at you, you gotta adjust accordingly. Here's Rivian, by the way. Testing $20 might not be a bad spot if you'd like to go in and swing this one. You can have a stop loss of about $1 on the break of 19, but this actually may not be a bad spot if you're a Rivian believer. Trying to take this one to the upside. I think your target can easily be about a 21, 22 bucks. So like a 1-to-1 trade if you wanted to swing this puppy. Obviously, this is a breakout that you missed right at the 16 bucks when it came back above the trend line, moved up, tested the 1578 beautifully, and then just continued to the upside. Noise cancellation mics. So I've got like $1,000 mic set up, but apparently it's not good enough. I've got the Shure, whatever this is. I don't know. It is the Shure SM7B, but apparently it's not good enough. Hey, they shut it off. All right, looks like we're not going to die today, y'all. Taking a look at Google. Nothing here for me, really. There's just a lot of chaotic noise on the 15, so let's go to the hourly. Nothing that I particularly fancy. Maybe a retest of about the 121s. But besides that, nothing here that I particularly care for. We could see if we want to draw a trend line here. And if we do that, you can expect a little bit of resistance here. Maybe that's when we get the retest of the 121s or so. Boy. What am I looking at now? Amazon. Man, look at that. Look how strong of a resistance this is. Boy, I feel like I'm going to hurl. You've got 1, 2, 3. Here's the fourth one. That 131.51 is just being a pain in the bum. Oh, boy. Our contracts on the crude oil are looking pretty. Again, I only got one so far. My average price on that one is $71.68. All right. Ooh, look at Meta. Just continue going to the upside. No retest here whatsoever. Yeah, we definitely showering after this because I've got an in-person meeting at 12 and I stank. Which is funny because I showered this morning at like 8. Now I got to shower again. How many floors? 30 floors. Not fun. But again, on the way down, it was fine. It was on the way up that I felt horrible.
All right, let's do this thing. Now, do we want to go down?
Oh boy.
All right, looking at Sooks S here. See if we can get a little move outside of this. Where's my risk right now? 82s. 82s. All right. Looking to see if we can get some turnaround here in some stocks, or are we just going to keep ripping higher? Apple back at VWAP. So if you're looking for stocks that are pulling back, that one's pulled back. SPY pulling back a little bit. Got some OJ ready to get back into it.
Yeah, if you go ahead and oh boy, if you go ahead and take a look at the Qs, you can see them rejecting that 371 level that we pointed out. Just gaining a little bit of energy like I need to before it pops back above the 371s.
All right, SPY slowing down a little bit, but now catching a little bit of a bounce. Just keeping an eye on the SPY and the Qs here. Qs starting to show a little bit of some topping here. Little inverse head and shoulder there on the 1 minute.
Where is... Oh, there it is.
Get my moo. Trade's going. What's going on out there, guys? How we doing, Raz? It's good to see you in the chat. Anonymous talking about Meta. ADW says in an SQQQs.
Oh, man.
NXPI up there to 205. That one looks interesting for me now. A rejection of the 205 spot.
People talking about DWAC. Wolf. Let's see, Wolf. I remember back in 2020, tickers like eyes, ears, all those that start going. Wolf, let's see. Never traded this one.
Looking to see if the bid could jump up here for NXPI. I'm trying to get a swing trade on the short side of that. Q's trying to push right back to the upside here. Seems
All right,
like
so-
it can't be stopped, won't be stopped.
Oh, man. We don't have an interview today, right? Let me double check.
No, I
don't
do
think we
not
checked
think
this
so,
one.
my friend. I do not think so. At least not on my calendar.
Yeah, I don't have it on mine either. Okay, cool.
We're good, big dog.
So Wolf, you had support here. Holy shoot.
Got some.
Turned into resistance right there. And so now we kind of see how it's going to behave. Obviously, it's below this. So for me, if I'm going to take this trade to the upside, I want to wait until about 66 gets reclaimed and then holds. I'll probably risk about a couple of bucks if I was in this one. You do have
Nice.
Mara getting a couple of call options. What was I doing here? Oh, Mara, if it goes ahead and breaks 16, could be a good idea to try this one. If
I
you wanna
like
get in
Riot.
here, yeah, if you get in here, I'd risk off at 15.
I like Riot because it's on the lag and just broke through 13. So I'd like pullbacks anywhere near that level. So pullbacks at 13 on Riot seem interesting.
If you're, looks like I just caught a couple more contracts on my MCL futures. Average price is now 71 59. I'll look at NVIDIA here in a second, but someone had asked about VWAP. So the question is, may I ask what your VWAP settings are? Because whenever you say stocks are pulling back, yours doesn't show that. So first things first, different time frames will have VWAPs at different areas. So I typically look at anything that's at the 5, 10, 15. Matter of fact, everything you see here is kind of where I look at it. But if I'm looking at the VWAP, I don't go past 30. You'll see when I click 30, the VWAP goes away because I like to look at the VWAP on the 5, 10, 15. In terms of what settings I have, I'm obviously using TradingView, and these are the settings right here if you'd like to go ahead and use them. Looks like it's kind of standard, but session instead of week, monthly, whatever. And again, the chart, is whatever chart I'm looking at. So not the 15. You can set it to where it's like, hey, I only want the 15. Even if I'm looking at the 5 minute, I still want to know what the VWAP is on the 15, yada, yada, yada. But everything else is just kind of default setting. So nothing crazy there.
All right, Q's trying to make another step up here. Might actually short just the Q's itself here.
Amazon, what a rejection from that 131.50s. Just cannot seem to get over it.
Short a little bit here, the Q's. Got short there, 50 shares at 370.75. Looking for a little more.
Was it a fire alarm or a gas alarm? The folks downstairs said it was a fire alarm. I actually don't know if I have a carbon monoxide detector in the house. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I need some sugar, actually. I'm actually going to go get some ice cream because YOLO. I'll be back.
YOLO, baby. Get that ice cream. All right, guys. I'm short the Q's here. About to add on it. Really risking off the 371s right now. All right. Now I just added to it. Now definitely risking off that 371 spot. All right, there you go. We'll see what happens on this. Taking to my shot there in some QQQs.
Do I have
Not
a gas
SQQQs.
stove? No, I have an electric stove.
Electric stove.
Not that I use it as much, but whatever.
Electric.
I have to think about it, actually. All right. Breakfast for champion, y'all. Oreo sandwich ice cream. You know what I'm saying?
Oof, that's fire, right, bro. That's fire.
Yeah, right here.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Oreo,
so
where are you at? Sponsor
the
us.
calories that we burned on the way down.
We need to get them back in somehow, some way.
Yeah, because we got feeling lightheaded. Let's see how many steps we got today already.
Q's want to stay strong here, guys. They're looking like they want to stay strong.
2,000 steps. Let's go.
Did Apple get that nice little VWAP bounce? It might. It might. It's right on it. Now Q's reject one more time here. That's looking better for me. Off the 90 rejection there. I have 75, so we'll look to see if this can get back down there to 370s. Now pulling back.
I'm still muting like my fire alarm's going off, but this is funny. We're not healthy here, or at least I'm not. Mitch has orange juice, which has plenty of sugar in it as well. I remember 5 years ago, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be healthy. So my girlfriend and I at the time, we went to Kroger. She's like, all right, cool. Like, what are you going to get to substitute your soda addiction? Apple juice. And she looked at me like I was the dumbest person in the world. I looked at the back of the nutrition facts of the apple juice stuff, and I was like, yep, never mind. We'll just get some water.
It's just how it goes, man. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, it helps. It helps, but, just a little at a time, right? Little ice cream doesn't hurt.
Oh, my God. This ice cream is so good.
Right?
That's what I'm saying, cheese. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Q's starting to come down here a little bit. Let's see if I can actually get a turn here. For me, that would be a breakdown through the 370.41 here. See if I can get it back down to 370, the VWAP.
I've actually never had a sip of alcohol in my life, but I've heard
Q's
plenty of
bouncing
friends
here.
that likes to do it. Let's go and look at your cues here.
Yeah,
I
Q's
have
bouncing.
actually.
Still strong. They're still strong right now.
So I know we're kind of off topic with our jibber jabber, but we are looking at. So I'm already in Amazon. That's a swing trade. I'm not worried about it just yet. In terms of day trading, I've got 3 contracts of the MCL on the future side at 71.59, and then I'm waiting for this 371 to break and hold. Matter of fact, I should focus on Meta. Oh, hello. The Qs are, kind of struggling to get over 371, but Meta just straight to the upside. No retest needed whatsoever for this one. Jesse, how expensive is it? Because, your boy just paid rent.
Just paid it, man. All right, there's a third bounce there and a third resistance test there in the Qs. So I'm looking for this to maybe test down one more time, but it could break up above the 371. Above 371s, it will get me out here. There's a push. Qs looking strong. Apple could bounce.
Look at that.
The Qs break out. Out of the Qs there at the 371 spot. Took another little hit there. 31 bucks down. Qs ripping higher. Apple probably look good there. There's Apple 192.50s. Look to see if it pushes the 193s. Intel not partaking in this battle today. The swing trade's not looking too great there on Intel and BJ. Those are the ones down in the red. Did get NXPI that's now down a little bit, so we'll see what happens on that one. That one is getting up there to the 205. 206 is the out for that one. Qs do a little bit of a blow off top there at the 371, but could regain the value here if they get some buyers in the 370.90s, 370s one area. There you go. Right back into that. See if it pushes above the 371. Keeps climbing. Meta's kept climbing. Tesla's right at the VWAP bounce. Just bounced off of that 281 spot. Looked really nice there on the chart. I'll show you guys that chart right here. Tesla bouncing there off the VWAP. If you're looking for a bullish looking move, that one's not looking too bad here. Nice little flagging pattern playing into that one. So hope somebody was able to nail this pattern right there. Nice little flag on Tesla. Netflix failed at the 450. Yep, it did. It did fail there. Apple. We're up there to 192.50s. Let's see if it takes the 193s. Microsoft staying strong for now. Google also. Q's looking a lot like these bigger stocks, ripping to the upside. Big move up in the Q's today. I don't think anybody was looking for that quick move, but it was a good one. Didn't even test down at all, the Q's today. So we'll look to see if there's a later flip. But for right now, technology stocks doing really well. Utility stocks doing well, and healthcare names doing well.
Disney. Let's check out Disney.
At least oil coming down today. Definitely missed my short there. Nice VWAP fades on there. XOM down to 106.50s. That looks good there for oil to the short side, right? I could look at maybe drip to the upside if I wanted to look at that. But that's just slowly getting moving there. We'll see if that actually makes a move. Chevron going lower there. Also, Oxy. I did add that XOM, so we're looking good at 107.92s, which is close to that 108 area. And now I want to see this really collapse, come back down to that 103 and knock out that 102. Third rejection from this trend line there. So that looking good there on XOM. As oil turns around, I could go for XLE today to the short side. So I will try to take a swing on this. If it can come back to 81.25, set an alert there. I'll take a shot. All right, coming back to your chart, my friend. Disney for the long. I still have Disney.
Like it.
I have Disney at 89.13s. And I'm just holding off kind of the 87 area, 88 area. So I wouldn't want it to break 88, but as long as it can hold here, pull back towards like, let's say 89.50s and then get right back up that looks good. You're getting 89.50s right now to break through.
I like this one. I went ahead and grabbed a few hundred shares at what's my average price here? 89.47. The reason being is if you look left again, resistance. Oh my goodness, what resistance it is. Then we finally pop. There's no retest. I'm going to have hopium and say that, hey, this is going to be a little bit of resistance, and we're going to bounce to the $90. So putting money where my mouth is, I'm actually going to go ahead and buy a little bit more here because I just talked myself into it. So now we've got average price of 89.48. Thank you for calling it out, Dave. I appreciate you. But is that why you got in, Dave? I just explained why I got in. But I'm interested if you kind of were seeing the same thing or if you're looking at different trend lines or what your thought process was coming into this one.
All right, team. Let's see what I can get into with the Mumu account today. I do have a day trade, so I'm going to be trying to get into something in just a little bit. We'll see if we're able to catch something on a little bit of a turn. Solar names doing well today. Tech names still staying strong as of right now. I was watching a little bit of some SoFi action there. Qs overall just staying strong. 370.93s, almost right back up towards that 371. If it closes the 5 minute up above 371, I think we might get another little expansion move. But the 5 minutes keep closing below that 371, and that shows me some resistance there.
All right, got a little bit more greedy, and I purchased some more shares. So now we've got about a total of 600 shares at this 89.49.906.667. That's my average according to what am I using here? Thinkorswim.
Choose about 2 minutes more for a rejection from the rule of three, and then it would be it could take down through the 370.50 area. So could have got stopped out a little bit early in the trade. We'll see what happens. I might take one more attempt at it.
By the way, y'all, friendly reminder. It's obviously the second half of the year that we're in. I'm sure a lot of you had some New Year resolutions and goals and things like that. If you haven't accomplished them or even started them, it's never too late. You got 6 more months to make it happen. And I say that because obviously that's a reflection I went through for the past month and this weekend. So
it's very important, man. Very important to meet those goals. Think about them as quarterly goals. I like to versus yearly goals.
That's great you mentioned that.
Yeah, that's the way I like to think about them, and not even yearly, because yearly it feels sometimes like even that's a little too far out. So think, 3-4 months. What can I do in the next 3 or 4 months to improve myself? Those are always good mentions.
That's a good one. Yeah,
and then you can take it month by month, right? So if you want this goal for 4 months, what do I got to meet this month to get the page and get that ball rolling?
Let's see what we've got here. Still kind of hanging out. So let's go ahead and focus on our trade. So what do you call it? Disney's coming down. We're down about maybe 7 cents. Nothing too crazy for me. Again, I'm risking about 50 cents on that one. So if we're wrong, we'll lose about $300. But taking a look at the MCL, the future side, we are up handsomely on these 3 contracts that we've got. We bought them with an average price of $71.59. They're currently trading now at $71.88. I'm looking to get rid of one contract here at $71.95, which we're about 8 cents away. Excuse me.
All right, Q's been in this sideways trend here, trying to get above 371. Has made multiple attempts there. We'll see what happens if we get continuation to the upside. What's going on in Tesla? Tesla actually making a down move here. Apple turned around a little bit there. Q's getting a little heavy here. Now they're getting heavier. Just rejected that move.
Ba-da-dum, boom, 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 ba-da-dum, boom, 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 ba-da-dum, boom, boom. Come on, mouse. What you gonna do, mouse? Yeah, look at the Qs again. Cannot stay over this 371.
Yeah,
I'm not
just
looking to
struggling
short
there.
this. I'm waiting for a long. And the old me would have tried to short this with a stop loss at high a day, which I mean isn't a bad idea if you believe we're headed to the downside and you believe this resistance area is going to hold. But I'm more so looking to play the breakout trade. And of course, we do not go ahead and get filled on our MCL as that comes down a little bit. We were up about $100. Now we're up about $50. Sad. And Disney, we're down about 20 cents. Nah, about 10 cents, 11 cents on this Disney trade.
Q's just bouncing, and we just got past 10 a.m. We'll see if we do see a little bit of a turnaround there on the SQQQs.
What's your stop loss on Disney, Dave? For me, UPST. I'm like a squirrel type of trader.
I can't
here we
blame
go.
you. Nice
So
little
you've
uplift
got-
there.
Yeah, you've got, and then, you've got a nice little round bottom here. Breaking out above this 38.90 area. If we can go ahead and sustain ourselves above it, I think we can knock on the doors at 40, obviously. What the? Oh, that's way up there. I was like, wait, what? Boy, look at this chart, man. 400 to now worrying about a breakout above 39. God bless.
XPEV, man, I'm going to be so frustrated on that. That's a big miss by me. I talked about trying to get it at $10, and I even had levels drawn out. Just didn't even go ahead and go after it. Good levels off of that 10. And the big thing for the China EV is tax pensions. I thought that would give it a lift, but it was pulling back that day. And then I just didn't watch it when it was below 10 there. Now it's up to 1506. I feel all China EVs could get a lift and continued lifting off that mentioned. So we'll see what happens. But XPEV, big and strong right now. She's still battling there, man. Q's still battling, trying to make that up move there. We'll see if he gets it. Zunaid did a nice little 5-minute close above 371, or a 10-minute close maybe.
Oh, on the Qs? Yeah, for me, it's a 15. So the way that I do
15,
it.
I like it.
So the way that I do it is, say on the Qs, right? Say if I want to play 200 shares, I will go ahead and grab 50 shares at the 5-minute close, and then I'll grab another 150 at the 15-minute close above or on the retest, right? So let's kind of check it out. So you can see in this example, there's nothing here. Matter of fact, let's see what Meta does, or Meta did rather.
Yeah,
so you can see on
strong.
the 5-minute, I'd be like, all right, cool. You know what? Maybe on this retest, I'll go ahead and grab. I wouldn't buy 300 shares on Meta, but if I wanted to grab, let's say 200 shares, I'd be like, all right, cool. I'm going to go ahead and get 50 shares here. And then on the 15-minute retest, if we did get one, I would go ahead and grab the rest of them. But nonetheless, Qs is what everyone's keeping an eye on.
Mm-hmm. And what is it? It's just a couple stocks I feel like are holding it up. Mentioned by Jay in the chat about breadth being down, and it is. It's these big boys like Microsoft holding it up, Google holding it up about 2%, Meta 2%. Tesla made a down move, now recovering, a little bit of a sweep down, and then right back up. So that's a little bit of a trick out move there. And I can't blame you guys if you guys got stopped out on that move. That's a little bit of a tough move to get through. So it gets above the trend line, cuts back below it, hits the support, cuts through it on wicks, that can stop anybody out. I can't blame you. And then it's back up to 281.50. So that's a hard move to get through on Tesla. NVIDIA. Continuing going. That should tell us a sign that the Qs can just keep pushing.
Oh, shoot. That's the other alert that had gone off. Was NVIDIA.
Meta 296 now. Looks like it could keep going. Just seems like we're just like on this like big move up and stair step higher. And it keeps stair stepping higher. So you got to be careful with that, especially if you're trying to short. And this looks like things are just going higher right now. So there you guys see 371s now, 371.17s, almost a 5-minute close above here. So we just got a new candle that it's opening up here, but good close on that recent candle at 10:15. Apple recovering at 192.50s. Could maybe get towards the 193s now. Meta staying strong as of right now. Google pushing back to the upside. Microsoft pushing back. Looks like a strong day, at least for right now. Strong day indeed so far. Look to see if Disney starts coming back to view app. XOM going lower. That doesn't look too bad. Looking at here, 1170. Can we cover a few small caps that are moving in Ryan's absence? Well, just throw them up. The biggest thing is that probably we're not looking at them. At least I don't look at too many small cap names at all. So you just got to let us know sometimes. What are you guys looking at? I see LPTH brought up in the chat there. So here you guys, I'll show you guys LPTH. That's trying to get through the 185s. We'll look to see if that can keep going. But definitely, I don't play too many of the small ones, so you guys can definitely talk about them in the chat. I'll try to catch some of them. APLD mentioned in the chat. We'll see if it gets back up through 10. This one looks interesting on the 15-minute pullback towards 984s and then catching 10 again. ENVX, that's at 1946. This one having a nice little uplift here. Nice little 5-minute pattern. Broke through the 19, rose towards the 1950s. If I measure this out, I get about 77 cents from around here. I think maybe we can get up there towards like 1960s, 1970s, but this one's already almost turning around at the 1950s. Look to see if it keeps going. Rig popping. I know that had an upgrade. We'll look to see if it actually can make a move. It's already moved in the pre-market, so maybe that's already done the move on the day. We'll find out. Qs, though, continuing higher now, 371.40s. And looks like the market just staying strong after a weak pre-market. And so it was weak pre-market, and rips right back up. It's one of those days, baby. One of those days. All right, let's see what's going on in the world.
You've got Qs, obviously, that just blasted. No retest just yet. So, again, if you take a look at it, right, even on the 5-minute, there's been no retest or no close. It will in about a minute. And this is where I'd be like, all right, cool. I want to grab maybe a contract here and there. But ideally, I'd like to wait for the 15-minute retest at that 371 and then go ahead and grab some contracts.
All right, we'll see if that comes through here. Watching Rivian to get back in. All right, I see you out there, team.
Quite disappointed in Amazon, though, as the Qs are just blasting up. Amazon's to the downside. SPY blasting up, but Amazon just headed to the downside. Not fun, but at least our Disney is now up 10 cents. So we are loaded. We are rich. We are about to retire. We're not. We're up about maybe $68 or so. My sells, by the way, I'm looking to sell some at 89.76. Looking to sell half my size. Actually, a little bit more than that.
Whew. Stock staying strong now, starting to really get a lift. They were kind of a dull. You can see some stocks really starting to push. AMD still off that 116. That seems interesting to me. That doesn't want to move up. We'll see if it catches his lift now. Doesn't look too bad on AMD. Might do a little cut through on 116 and a recovery here. That's what I looked for, especially if the Qs can stay strong. Looking to see if AMD can get strong here, but come on, Moo Moo. Canada is waiting for you. I hear you guys. I hear you out there. I can't blame you for thinking about that. Let's take a look here at AMD. It's off that 116. Just tried to break there. Went to 116.05. Now recovering 116.20s. We'll take a nice little lift there through 116.50s, 117. Earlier today, making a move to 117.66. The Qs can stay hot. Maybe AMD can stay hot. Of course, you guys can check out Moo. Smash the like button out there. I'll go ahead and I'll throw it up in the chat. You guys see also the QR code in the top right corner. That's exactly a link that gets you over so you guys can check out the new promotions that Moo has to offer. Of course, we're in July, so we'll have some new ones for you guys. And I'm working on something special, guys. Smash it up.
Let's see. What time is it? 10:30.
All right, we'll look to see if AMD comes back here. Starts making its way. Qs overall went to 371, now pulling back. It just seems like we're just slowly stair-stepping. That's when it gets a little bit harder to make trades, right? Because now it's kind of like this little stair-step move up versus a rip to the upside. So be careful out there, team. Same thing going on in NVIDIA. Like this is the type of chart that's happening now, right? Stair-step move, right? So this is on the 5-minute and you see what? Little candles going higher. Not that expansion move. Let's see if we can get another expansion move. What I mean by expansion move is a candle like this. Big candle showing up there, right? Not like this little side step that you're getting in NVIDIA right now. So can we get this big candle? Can we get that nice little breakout look? That's what I'm looking for so that you can get that clear what? 3 advancing white soldiers on the Qs, which is in a continuation pattern to the upside. So this candle closing and not getting into the prior candle's high or close, which is 371.42. So we want to see that kind of get above that, close above that towards like maybe 372s. That will show me that expansion type move here on the Qs. AMD now starting to hold. That's looking better here. Let's see if this can really start lift off. I think this will push a little bit earlier than maybe that kind of the other stocks, just because it's lagging a little bit behind.
By the way, you do now have the MCL again. We did not get a chance to close out of any contracts. We're looking to sell some at 71.95. We're still about 20 cents away from that one. The Qs, nice little move to the upside. No retest just yet. Not on the 5, nor on the 15. And
all right, grabbed a little bit there. Grabbed a little bit of AMD right before that pop there, 116.35. So looking to add some below that 35 here. $38, $35, $35. So I added just a little bit there. Now into the 20s. This is coming back pretty quickly here, so just got to be smart. All right, we'll see if this can get back above the 116.50. So I have some at 116.36. So I'm trying to be slow with the ads because I can add more. I have 100 there. But if it tries 116, I want to be slow there, because if it goes through the 80s, of course, I don't want to be adding down there. So let it even test down maybe towards the support of 116.05 and then come right back up. Turn this into a green candle. The big thing is you could also just go off of like kind of like a 5-minute candle, right? So now we could let it test down here, like 115.98s, but we should get another green candle coming back up through 116.25 and 116.50s if we're going to get that upside move. BTAI called out in the chat. We can take a look at that. Let's go. Let's take a look there with using Mumu. Ooh, 925s. Okay. See if it gets through the 950s. Qs overall, what are they doing? They're at 371 61s. It really wasn't the biggest kind of expansion candle. Got a little one on the 5-minute there, a little bit on the Qs, but a little slow down here at 371 60s. Let's see if we can get up there to 372s.
By the way, yeah, Raz, I wouldn't go with Meta here to the upside. I mean, what a move it's already had. If anything, I would wait till it gets above 300 or you get a VWAP test, because this has just continued to move to the upside. Where would your stop loss be? Where would your take profits be? I'm personally looking to short Meta if it can approach 300 sometime in the near future.
All right, AMD slowing down here by the 116s. I still haven't added. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it here. All right, just bounced right off that 116 level. How the Qs doing here? Into 372, 383s. Definitely slowing down a little bit there. The market's getting a little kind of on this little stair step move. Not really much volatility. It could be, of course, it's a slower week this week. So be careful out there, team, with what kind of trades you guys are trying to get into. All right, so it doesn't look like we have an interview coming up, guys. So we got about 15 more minutes with you guys. We'll stick around to 9:45, and then we'll start calling it a wrap. It's that slow, grindy type of day. Walter even mentioned it, an experienced trader, right, in the chat. I think I would agree with that. It's definitely that grindy type of day.
Come on.
Mega OJ day for sure. I agree with that. Now the Q is pulling back a little bit here. Didn't get towards the 372s. Back down to 371 60s. AMD slowing up here.
Yeah, waiting for that retest still.
All right, getting that down test here in AMD. We'll look to see if it cuts down or not. I want to see if I can get a recovery here, but next layer down brings me down to the 115.70s. This starts to break.
That's funny, Walter. Yeah, I assume the bosses ain't coming back till Monday.
All right, a little bit of a protective stop just in case we get a wipeout move here in the Qs, because they're pulling back down, and I got to be careful there with AMD. Wanted to recover 116, but through 115.60s, and I'll definitely get out. So looking for a big recovery here in AMD.
went ahead and added one more contract on the MCL trade. Now my average price is 71.57. VWAP for me is around 71.25.
Tesla just hanging out here on the 281s. That's a hard chart to read today. 15 minutes, probably the best shot. And it's just battling around there. Could go up, down, in between. It's like in that in-between spot right now. News overall, just hanging out here, the 371. I'm going to look to see if I can get that uplift now and really start pushing here. Get back into the balance here. All right, Q's just bottoming a little bit here. Going to start taking my shot there in the second on AMD. So you guys see the setup there. Let's see if it gets back up there towards the VWAP. VWAP is 116.50s. That's really where I need to see some buyers step up if this is really going to take another lift. Q's overall, trying to see that go up through the 372 spot. That's starting to get a little stronger there. So got to start taking my shots here.
Amazon
all right,
trying to get back.
just added a little bit there on AMD.
You are going long or short or
long? So I have 116.21, 200 shares on the prop.
I'm waiting for Amazon to close above VWAP. I'm going to look to go long there. Got a few minutes till
Amazon. Yeah, that looks interesting. I like the chart. At least now you got that kind of reversal candle after kind of a little bit of a sideways period on the pullback.
I am long MCL. My average price is about 71.56. We were in the money. We were up about $100. Unfortunately, now we're down 10 cents. A VWAP for me is 71.25.
Actually like this. Not looking too bad there on Amazon, even for kind of a swing action here. A little bit higher. Kind of like it. Can we close the gap right back up there towards 136.80s? Doesn't look too bad, my friend. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It's a tough day, though. Really choppy. Just got that up move. Not looking that great now. So testing down again on Amazon. Not on Amazon, on AMD.
Yeah, the FOMC minutes come out today too, right? I believe.
At 2 p.m.
Yeah,
So that's a little later, though. You know what I mean? We could have maybe like a bullish day until then. Or maybe like 15 minutes before, right?
Well, I mean, to me, you've already kind of had it because we're up about, what is it? We started all the way down here. We were on it looking at like gap down, and we recovered. We went red to green, and then, you know, because we were at,
yeah, do they just sell?
Was around 369.
Yeah. I agree with that outlook. I mean, you're not doing bad with saying that maybe it's already come, right? And I think that that's an important thing to kind of do sometimes. We'll see what happens. I definitely think that we're just having this slow grind up, right? So the slow grind up could slowly pull back, and the Qs haven't really pulled back here, even to the VWAP at all day. And so at some point, you maybe get that pullback.
Anyone mentioned TMC? That's YMC.
Yeah, I'll be watching for a downturn about like 15 minutes before we get that release. But that's just me, right? You guys don't need to look for that. You guys can look for it already. AMD, I'm playing off of like a 15 or an hourly outlook, so I'm not mad about this. I'll just take the trade and we'll see what happens. 15 minutes. Let's see if it gets a nice little bottoming outlook here. Gets back up there to 116.50s. Through the 80s, I have a stop set there in the 70s at 72.
Come on, Disney. Turn it around and test VWAP at the very least. Come on. I'm going to try some Amazon here around 130.45s, 150s are my fills as it's looking to get up above VWAP.
If we do the Explore tab, you can see here how the breadth is really in the red with the decliner distribution compared to the advancers, right? But we do have some bigger stocks that are holding us up. You can see by the bigger chunks here in the heat map, how those are green, but anything kind of smaller, red, banks, red, insurance, red, oil, gas, red, credit services, red, asset management, red, discount stores, red, healthcare, United Health, red. So like kind of the bigger names in different sectors are red, but of course, leading technology names in the green. AMD just kind of playing around here on this 116 level, trying to get stronger, but really not making that move. Once it gets back through my entry, if it gets to like 116.50, from that point on, I'll risk off of 116. So lower down the risk there to make sure that if we do get the move, it'll be a nice one.
Disney can't hold on to the 89.50. Still struggling a little bit. Nothing too crazy.
All right, 372s hit there on the cues, but it turns back around. It's just stair stepping now and then just trying to go higher, but not really getting the lift off. That was a decent candle on the 1 minute. I'll show you guys that on the cues, but let's see if we can actually drive higher through that 372. We tapped it, went to 372.01. Let's see if we can drive through that 372 and see some stocks go higher. Tesla, an interesting one, now below VWAP here. So it just seems to me like it's playing within this 5-minute range. Up one, down one, up two, down two. Could come right back up to 282. Stay within the range sideways for a while now. So we could trade sideways for a little bit of a period here. Just be careful out there, team. Meta, staying at the top of the range, not pulling back to the VWAP. That's actually staying pretty strong there. Apple holding VWAP. Will this make a move above 192.50s? These are all the types of moves that if you wait to see the pattern fully develop, you can go after them. And I feel like right now, Apple is clearly one of those types of patterns that you could go after, right? Like that looks pretty to me. And we'll see what happens. All right, let's keep it going here. I'll put up Zunaid so you guys can check out what he's looking at.
Yep, we've got Amazon that we're focusing on, and also Disney. As you can see, we're coming down a little bit. Average price for me on this one is, what's my average entry? 89.49, so call it 89.50s. It's coming down, looking for a bounce on this little trend line, but we shall see what happens on that one. And here's MCL headed to the downside as well. That's not a pretty trade.
No, it's not looking good for me in AMD either. We're down there in the 80s. Trying to see if 116 recovers, but not looking good right now. Might get a little bit of a cut through and then a tried recovery, but I don't think I'm going to be around for that tried recovery. This might be my strike 3 on the day there for the prop account. It hasn't been going well in the last 2 days, the prop. There's the 70s starting to come back down.
Amazon.
See if AMD hits me.
Amazon's just about the only green trade I have at the moment, as our average price on that is 130.46. Huh.
About to get hit there. Out of AMD on the pullback. Just didn't want to get going there. And it doesn't look like it's that type of day. It looks like now we're going to be maybe running into a little bit of some shaky time. I wanted to take a trade with the Moo account, but to tell you the truth, nothing clear of trend for me. And so it seems like it's one of those days where we're just going to get that choppy look. And that happens sometimes. It's definitely not the day for me. So I'm just going to take it easy and just call it a day already. A lot of times as traders, what do we need to be? We need to be what? We need to preserve that risk when it ain't going well for me. And today, it's definitely not that day. Strike 3, 2 strikes on the SQQQs. Well, one on the SQQQ, one on the Qs, one on the AMD trade. I'm out. That's strike 3, and you're out. All right. What do you guys got out there? Yeah, I can't hold the gap, man. It just doesn't want to hold. And it seems like I'm not on the right trade on both sides today. So I tried to short the Qs, tried to go long on AMD towards the expansion, move up, back up. Not happening there today. We'll see if Meta comes back down, but definitely not doing bueno today. MU also, Sam, is getting smacked. Just seems like we're getting conflicting news now in the tech names. We'll see if this turns around on the day, but NVIDIA was strong earlier, now starting to slow down. And we could just see a small leak now. Seems like the Qs are just holding up here, but we'll look to see if we see a little bit of a turnaround here. Could go after like maybe an SQQQ trade again in kind of the Mumu account. That's probably about the only thing that I could go after here. But I'm not going to just jump into that off the 57s here. I'd have to risk off of like the 50s and keep it really tight. We'll see what happens. I do have about another day trade that I'll have tomorrow. We'll see if this turns around, especially near the minutes. That's one thing that I'll be looking for. Maybe I'll take a little bit of a swing trade. Of course, you guys can keep up with all that action on Start Swing Trade. If you guys want to catch that, don't miss that. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern every single day till 4 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be doing that later today. And I think this is going to be a pretty interesting week for Start Swing Trade. I got something new planned for you guys. So come over there at 3 p.m. I'll let you guys know a little bit more. And yeah, Leon, it's not all bad today. We can take a look at some of the swing trade action on the day. Day trading action, not going bueno for me, but swing trade action, QS to the upside. That looks good there. Now to 855. Of course, I have this down from 695, and I'll look for this to really just keep going. This is one that I look could get to the next level of 945, 10, maybe even 12. That would be a big win there. I'm up 22.97% on that QS position. We'll look to see if that can continue climbing. Here is one that I'm looking for, a nice little push to the upside. We'll look to see if that can get back above 12 on the day. XOM going lower. That looks great for me on the ad. Deer pulling back today. We'll look to see if that gets to the upside. I'm still in the green on that one, but not deep into the green as much. I have 401. So I'm still a ways from here, but it could always pull back. Disney pulling back today, not looking good. It had a chance to continue higher, and I was up over a point on the name. Now it's pulling back there to 89.34s. Doesn't look that good. All right, but to wrap it up, I do want to bring you guys a little bit of some news out there. Did you get the alert on the Smith & Wesson SWBI? Of course, we'll look to see if we get back there through 13s. I like that pullback on the hourly. So just to kind of mention that, I know Wisdom's been keeping an eye on Smith & Wesson. You see this kind of pattern right there. We'll look to see if this pushes back up through the 1350s. Doesn't look too bad for a kind of a swing trade attempt if you think Smith & Wesson can go to the upside. The only thing that I'd say about Smith & Wesson is the volume's pretty low today, 93,000 shares traded. So this is kind of a little bit of a thinner stock to trade. So just be careful out there. Look to see maybe some volume pick up into the move. All right, pulling that down, and I'm going to take a look into some stocks outlook from Zunaid, and then we'll bring on, of course, Nick Brown for some wrap up on some news action. What you got, Zunaid? You want to wrap up here?
Sure can. So keep an eye on the crude oil. Let me go ahead and put my charts up.
Got you, my friend.
Thank you. So you've got the retest here. We've talked about the hourly. You have the test of the trend line right there. I'm expecting for it to bounce. If I'm wrong, I'll go and lose about $250 on this trade. Again, this particular trade is on the prop account, but I do have the same exact trade set up with the real money. My average price on that one is 71.56. It's currently bouncing from VWAP, as you can see from that oil here on the 15 minutes, a little bit different than the 5 minutes. If I go to the 5 minute, you'll see. So it's interesting. Even on Thinkorswim, the VWAP shows different. But nonetheless, keep an eye on this trend line if we can go ahead and head to the upside. The Qs have obviously been strong, but unfortunately, Amazon hasn't been able to get up there. I still have a couple hundred shares there. Wait for that 131.51 pop, and then we can take this one to the upside itself. And then let's see what else we've got on Disney. I think this last one, Disney, I'm about to get stopped out of Disney if we do go ahead and break this trend line, but right now still hanging on to it. But if we get to around 89 tens or so, I will go ahead and get out. So it looks like it is going to be a losing trade for me for a little bit. And that's kind of pretty much where it goes. I am going to take a little bit of break from live trading for about a week or two or more, but we'll definitely look to see you guys back. But Mitch and Ryan are going to carry on the torch of everything. And I think Ryan's back tomorrow from HQ. So that'll be nice. Maybe we'll see a Jason sighting possibly.
We'll see what happens. All right, let's go ahead. Let's bring on Nick Brown here to finish up with some news outlook. What you got for me, Nick?
I was going to say, just basing off the oil front, to further talk more about Zunaid's point, Saudi energy minister says the latest oil cuts showed unity with Russia. On Monday, Saudi Arabia said it would extend the 1 million barrel per day production cut it had initially flagged for July into August. Unlike alliance-wide OPEC plus policy decisions, voluntary production declines do not require unanimous approval and need not be implemented by all group members. Some questions did have surfaced over the extent to which Russia will be honoring its voluntary cut production decline pledges. And within the last hour, Morgan Stanley cuts oil price forecasts. They see surplus in H1 of 2024. They cut its Brent price outlook for the third quarter this year to 75 from 77.50 and lowered its Q4 forecast to 70 from 75. It also cut its forecast for 2024 by $5 and now sees prices at 70 in the first quarter, at 72.50 in the second, and 75 for Q3 and 80 for Q4. And they say, quote, despite low investment, non-OPEC plus supply has been growing robustly, and supply from Iran and Venezuela has been creeping higher. We still model stock draws in Q3, but expect oil price softness to continue as the market's focus shifts into H1 2024 when balances look in surplus.
All right, team, and we'll see if the Qs just topped out there on the hourlies. You can see kind of resistance coming into play right around that level around 371, I would say 30s. And so it looks like there's some resistance there that's coming into play. We'll look to see if we get pullbacks now, and then if it continues higher later in the day. Of course, we got the minutes that will be released at 2 p.m., so don't miss that. But that's going to do it for us today. Of course, you guys got the boys here, and we'll see you guys next time, of course, on live trading. Don't go anywhere, team. We got more for you guys on Benzinga later today. Of course, start swing trade at 3 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss that. It was a great time with you guys. And like always, you guys can hit that link in the top corner for some moo action. I'll throw the link one more time. And thank you, boys, for joining me today. It's always good to have you guys.
Have a good one.
Have a good one, guys. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time.
Check.